Welcome everyone to another episode of Planet Nomads. Now, this is actually my second take on this episode because the first take, over an hour of footage, a bunch of work, a lot of resources gathered, and when I got done, something had happened. Normally, I check my video files when I first start recording. I learned this because of problems in the past with OBS deciding to not record correctly. So I always check and make sure I have my gameplay video file like you're seeing right here, and then a separate facecam video file going to another drive. Both files were there and both files were working. After I closed OBS, the facecam video file disappeared, and my gameplay video, what you're seeing right now, was blank. Suddenly, no footage, no audio, nothing. Just the entire thing for over an hour of recording with no audio or video at all, and my facecam video file just completely disappeared. So now I am hoping that after testing it worked, this is going to actually work. If not, this is going to be a very short video. But I did a lot of work during that time. I built, because I've done testing with this, a replicator. And I found that the replicator, to actually load supplies into it, you use a conveyor connector at the back. So I had it over there. I tested it with a single item build, basically by putting in a small compact container and loading it up with supplies I would need. And I went and decided to build this sleek hauler, which is just so I can carry extra supplies from my different mining sites. And I'll show you what happens. Basically, once you choose to build it, you can move anywhere with it and place it down. It doesn't seem to have a limit in terms of distance. So, because I still have not completely filled this all in, because I've been working on getting other stuff done, I have decided to wait about building the connection all the way down and putting it up here like I was originally planning. Because I don't really have to be where I want to place the blueprint down. I could just move like I just showed you. So I could actually create it there and just fly out here, put it wherever I want. On top of that, I realized that there's a problem. These are all foundation blocks. We do not have any foundation conveyor connectors, so I'm not going to be able to connect it straight through this without removing some of these and replacing them with the regular ceiling tiles, which are a lot smaller. So I'm going to have to redo that just to get that part to work. And also, more importantly, the corner sections is where I've been using that. Well, any way I put it with the conveyor connector, it is blocked by the leg here. So what I want to do is instead, I think I might try to move this in right up to the edge to free up the outside access there so I can use the conveyor connectors, or make it where I can line it up and go straight down the middle of this with a conveyor connector, making it a very nice hiding method for hiding the conveyors. But I did build a new vessel, which is this one. Everything's, it's a lot of cargo boxes, and I thought the cargo boxes were completely chained together on both sides, but they are not. So there is one side trunk here, which has all of this going right there. And wow, it's actually got some supplies back in it for some reason. So even my game save did not put everything back the way it was supposed to. That is interesting. I had that completely cleared and saved the game long after I did that, and it did put everything back. I also had a problem with this spitting out stuff, so I've got that. I did add some more production, and I've got production going very steadily, like right here. All that going, because I've got all of my stuff moved upstairs. All the stuff that I had over here is now moved upstairs into the other storage container system, the big storage container, and these are just empty now until I find a need for small containers upstairs, maybe like living quarter type storage. I'll put them up that way. But I did replace basically this, and what I want to do is I'm not going to tear this apart yet. If anyone wants me to blueprint this, I will blueprint this and put it up on the workshop as my first thing on the workshop, just because I do have this nice little landing strut. If somebody wants to try it out, I'll put it up there. Just let me know in the comments below. But otherwise, I have taken hold of this one. Now, this is interesting because I can switch it on with just this one switch. Everything works, and that's nice. It's got light, and basically uses some of the lights as well as the lower cargo boxes for landing gear of sorts. It's not the fastest acceleration, but it does get a good top speed. It's got good turn speed, basically. And it can carry a lot of cargo, which is the idea. Right now, I do not have all the cargo, connections for the mining sites, like the one up there, and across the water. None of that is tied back here with conveyors yet, and it's going to take some time to get everything set up the way I want it to be for that sort of system to work. So until then, I needed something I can use to just go to each of these sites in a, round robin sequence and basically pick up all the supplies and not have to worry about running out of room. I actually tried that with this one and ran out of room without even having all of the mining rigs completely full of supplies. So I needed something a little bit more. So that's what we've got there. I've got a lot of production going. I have got a lot of building materials stuck up here that I did when I first was recording this episode, and OBS decided to not work correctly for me. So this is all of my previous building materials put together, almost one large container full. Beyond that, I have 4 pretty much full, and half of another one on that side of resources. So yes, non-stop production now. I've put in a lot of goods to be made. Every single one of these is going, and that's just the direction it's going to end up being in the end. All of these just producing non-stop 300 mechanical parts, and all this is linked in together with this over here. So this has access to all of my storage, everything. You see, I have 1,610 basic frames, 1,349 plating Mark 1. So I do have access to more things. I've also added more blueprints from the workshop, and I have noticed something interesting. If you have not been trying this yet in your own gameplay, what happens is when you subscribe to an item, if you try it out and like it, great, it's in your, list. But if you decide you try something out and don't like it, and you unsubscribe, it stays in your list. To get rid of it, you have to come back in and go and hit delete right now. It does not remove it. At least so far in the ones I have subscribed to and then unsubscribed from, I've had to delete them afterwards. But I have a few interesting designs. Now, some of these are just for a certain mechanism, like gates opening on top is a base just because I want to look at the mechanism, the way they made that work. So you can have these gates open when you're coming in and have, like, maybe, I might use something like that on the top floor here. I could have it open up and let me fly a small vessel out, which I then come back and land inside. That is a interesting possibility. So I've got this so I can spawn it in and try it out. I've also looked at mobile bases. Now, the best one, the biggest one, is this one, Rorqual. Now, I have tested this in creative, and this is a truly massive and impressive design. The problem lies in the fact that even with my gaming rig, a 1080 right now, it stutters as soon as you start trying to fly this thing. Whether you're turning it left or right, flying forward, the game turns down to like almost no frames per second. It's very choppy. It's basically, it looks great, but in my game, it's unusable. And that was spawning it in on a brand new creative game with nothing else around. It made it unplayable. So, not going to be doing that one. I do have this one. It's nice. I'll probably still build it just to play around with it a bit. But it has very little actual storage. This is the one I'm more intrigued about because of the way it's set up. But I am going to be building different ones. This has a lot of storage capabilities. And it's meant to basically go and drop off somewhere and mine. And that's perfect. Right now, I could use something like that. Why? Because I need some Zeonite for certain things. So you know what? Actually, we're going to go ahead and do that. I mean, I do have this compact flying mobile base. It's a lot of stuff, but it doesn't feel like an actual vessel. Look, everything's exposed. It's just open to the air, kind of like what I've already built so far. I want something that feels like a proper vessel. So, With that being said, before, I mean, I could build this, or I could possibly, can I go ahead and build this one? If I can, I'll just, cannot build it yet, because it's going to take quite a bit of basic frames and plating. Hence why the massive amount of production immediately behind me in there, and all the storage for the supplies I'm going to need. So since my over-hour amount of gameplay earlier that I originally recorded for this episode did not actually get recorded, I need to do something else. I've got that. I've already used it too recently. I mean, I've drained every bit of resources from all 3 mining sites. I feel like, you know what? Let's go ahead. We'll test something else new. Doesn't have to be a very long-range design. Just has to be something else. Now, I got this container thing. Yeah, that could be dropped off somewhere. Don't want to use that just yet. Already got that one, so I'm just going to keep it around for the moment. Let's see. Maybe, I mean, I need a lot of frames and plating for that. It's going to take a while to produce that. Maybe air miner. Let's do the air miner. We will build this. So I could do this, and see, I just place it there, and it's going to start building. And, it's going to take a moment. It should come in with also a little bit of power in it, hopefully. If not, then I will need to go get some power. All right, let's check this out, because I looked at it a little bit earlier. Well, I'm not sure where my containers are, but let's go with generator. Oh, deuterium generator. Okay, so I need deuterium, not my uranium. And we've got also item dispensers on the back. So that's nice. You can go out, have it actually producing things for you. And everything's in. You got medium 3D printers. We got fab machine, mining rig, pumps, a refinery, another fab machine. And if you just decide you want to build an outpost somewhere, that will work. So this technically could be a mobile base. And let's see. So we've got a switch here, auxiliary. This is flight. And this is power. And what's this? Probably the mining. There we go. All right. Got that. That's turned off, which is always a good thing. You don't need the radar running if you're not actually scanning with it. We've got 2 cockpits. That looks nice. And, it's 2 people can use this. Let's go ahead and, we'll fly it. I'm not sure. I think the auxiliary is probably the production stuff. We'll take off. I don't know how much power I have. I may end up being unlucky and it drops right into the water in just a moment when it runs out of power. But hey, if it does that, I'll get the water pumps going. Hopefully be able to, generate some power that way. Maybe find a nice buried carbon deposit somewhere. Well, let's see. This is a very big design. Look at that. Nice underside. We got that water pump in the middle of the mining rigs. And we've got all of our production there along the side. This is an exposed design. It's not enclosed. It doesn't feel like a ship, like I'm used to seeing with Empyrean and such. It feels just like it was thrown together to provide you some resource gathering and some production while you're out and about, but not meant to be the most aesthetically pleasing or sensible design. Let's see, we do have that. Maybe I could find a spot that's got some carbon in the middle of a water thing. Actually, I think I do have that. Yes, like right there. Okay, we're going to try this right here. So I've turned off the pump, or the flight, I mean. I've got the water pump just slightly inside. It's actually picking up dirty water, okay. So I've got that. I've got the mining rig picking up carbon. So I actually have production going. So now basically, if I was using this like a mobile base, I just sit there and I go explore around the area. Be like, okay, let's go get, I need some biomass. So we'll go get biomass. I need stuff for making food. Maybe go get that, Like, oh, hey, look, tree. There you go, some biomass containers. All right, gathering up stuff that I need. And, oh, hey, looking for new resource deposits. You know, here's stuff. I do need to expand my production out here later on, but I need more carbon and iron, I think, is going to be my big thing in the long run that I will need the most of out here is carbon, iron. I just need this to be where I can find that. So we're going through and just, yeah, I'm exploring the area, looking for places I can place down a permanent style, you know, resource gathering operation. Like over here, I'm silicon. I don't need that much silicon. I've already got too much silicon, really. And it's raining. But hey, you know, this works. If I really wanted to, you know, all I'd have to do is basically sit here. Stasis chamber, there's 2 of them. I sit here and I'm protected from the elements. And slowly my energy, food, and water meters are going to go up, which means, you know, this is what I've done in the past. Put myself in a good place to get a lot of resources with mining rigs and basically sit in my stasis chamber and let the game run for like a half hour or an hour while it collects everything. And oh, some new, that's new. It's wireless signal thing. I wonder, is that talking about I'm near 2 wireless dispensers? Like 2 item dispensers? That's a conveyor connector. Oh, so it's not a dispenser, it's a conveyor connector. That's what those are. That means, I mean, that's not connecting to me, obviously. Let's see if I actually have power for these. Yes, no power, so the power's off on that. We're going to turn on auxiliary. And power is on now. So what I need to do is I need to make purified water. So we'll do 200 purified water. I have water and carbon being harvested. So that automates that part. And I don't know where the other stuff is. So let's just look here. I'm going to have to get used to this anyway. Yeah, item dispensers. So there's 2 of them somewhere on here, which is why I got that wireless icon. Let's see. Deuterium generator. I need to access it. Where do I go and do that? Can't I access this stuff from here? I thought I could. If not, then I need a place to get into it. Where's my generator? I needs to see it. I need to check my power level. That. Oh, so yes. I've got 13 minutes of power right now. We'll pop. No, I don't want to put the whole amount. I just want, like, I still wish I could just put, like, 1 in there. Like, seriously, just grab the stack and be like, hey, 1. We can do that in Empyrean. Why not here? Let's see how, oh, wow. So this stuff was already emptied recently when I came through with the other vessel design, and now it is full again. So, yeah, I have got to get my production level up to par with my mining level, because I am producing so much material, and that's a good thing. Very good thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab everything out of these mining rigs again, and I guess since these are full, we'll have the ones uphill from the base full, so I'll fly out there to them, and we'll just do that, and I'll get a lot more stuff put away and have a lot more materials for use in my production. Okay, so it is a new day. I have landed the little portable auto miner, you know, flight thing, and emptied all the storage out of it and put it into my main storage system. Now, I was asked in comments on the previous episode, as well as during my live stream the other day of Empyrean, that how long does it take to open my containers now? Well, as you can see, I am waiting, and upper end, I would say it's around, or it was around 10 seconds in order to open the containers. It's now getting worse with the more stuff that goes in. But basically what I have is I have 8 containers on both sides of this, as well as 5 in the front section of the room. So that's 21 containers. Each container carries 120 stacks. So that is 2,520 stacks of items. Each stack can hold 100 items, so you now have a total of 252,000 items storage capacity wise in my entire system, not counting the fabricators, food and drink machines, things like that. So it's a lot of items. Now, the container system and my little portable rig that I first built, the little cheap carry thing, it has quite a few cargo boxes, the small containers. They take nowhere near as long to load when you try to access them. So, click and bam, it's done. So it's not a count of how many containers you're trying to connect. In my opinion, the way I see it, what I'm experiencing is it's a matter of how many cargo storage slots you're actually loading in. And while this is already slow up here, when I load everything in, it's getting slower as I put more stuff into the containers. So what my expectation of how this is working is it's kind of similar to terrain chunks. When you're not near it, the terrain chunk is not loaded. So when you start getting into range, it has to load that chunk in. And I feel like they're doing the same thing with these, that the items themselves, each stack, the imagery for it is not loaded until you access the cargo container. And when you access it, it has to load them in, much like loading in a chunk. So it takes time. The more item stacks you have in the containers, and of course, the more open inventory slots you have in the containers as well. At least that's the way it's looking to me, because it also takes a moment when you hit to leave the container. It takes a moment to close, which to me implies that's the moment where it's basically unloading the chunk as it is with the actual items. So it's basically unloading those to free up some resources. And wow, let's see, how much do I have? Is it saying, oh, it's done. Okay, so those are done. And let's see, how much does it say I have in each of these? This is what that has in there. Yeah, okay, I've got plenty of supplies right now. Let's see what I can build new, if anything. I might not be able to build anything really new on this. So we got the air miner, which I can obviously build again. Or actually, maybe not. That was the support container. Yes, I can still build this. The advanced airship I can still build. And it's getting a little glitchy on the scroll bar here. I can still build this. I like it. I just don't think it's going to be the one for me to use as a true mobile base. But then there's this, which is closer to it. I just don't have enough supplies yet. I do have plenty of iron and carbon right now, thanks to getting more, but I'm also burning through it faster. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start up more production on just these elements. Another 500 of each, so I should have enough for that. And I'll probably hold off harvesting from the up the hill mining rigs because I have plenty of cobalt, plenty of aluminum, plenty of silver, more than enough of all that stuff. What I am needing more of is the iron and carbon right now because of the massive amount of plating and basic frames I'm going to have. So I do have this I can take around, explore with, play around with. And I do like that even here with the power completely turned off, you can see it's showing I am in range from this distance of the 2 item dispensers. So I have never used those before, but it's nice to see how much range I have for the item dispensers to work. But this is what I've been building towards. This is what I've been working towards for this entire base, is to be able to build and test designs, whether it's my own or somebody else's. And of course, easiest way is to build one off the workshop and get started by modifying them a bit. Well, I'll show you again. This is how much I have once it finally opens. It is increasing in time, like I said, because I'm putting more and more supplies into the storage, which is why once the automatic connections from the mining sites is working, I'm hoping that I won't ever have to actually look in these again. But yes, I still have all these. These haven't even been touched yet. It's just pulling from downstairs in the actual production units. So that's perfectly fine with me. I will have that going. I'm going to have to try and find a trolley cart type style thing that I can use to connect over there and connect over there to mining sites, so I can have all that trunking back here with conveyor systems, and also have an easy way I get in a vehicle and just cruise along this little, sky rail and get over there and do maintenance and then come back if I need to. This is just going to be a direct connection once that other stuff is done. And like I said, right now I'm full on the supplies I need from there. I need to find more production over across the water for my iron and carbon, and then get those linked across. So I'm going to be looking for some stuff like that still. But yes, this is going to be it for today's episode, because now I think I finally actually have it recording correctly and not wasting more of my time trying to do all this work only to have it not record and save the video footage after I'm done. Alright, so that is it for today's episode. Like I said, if you enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. As always, I'm your host, Mr. Spicy. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to keep it spicy this week, and I will see you in the next video.